Hey, Warrior Saints, glad to have you beautiful people with us today. As we continue this discussion about becoming peacemakers, it really struck me yesterday. Father talked about how we need to be men of action. We need to take actions to create peace, not just wait for it to come, not just think, let there be peace, but also let that peace begin with me. We need to find ways to do this. And I went yesterday, you might remember a few, maybe like last month, I had this string of cancellations from my massage appointment. So I finally got to go again yesterday. The last one they canceled 30 minutes before. And I'm annoyed with them. That's not peaceful. That's annoyance. That's almost rage at where I'm at. But I realized that it's not that big a deal because it's about a massage. So rather than go in and give them everything I had to let them know why they were wrong and why they should be treating me better and why they should give me this, why they should give me that, and why they should do this, and why they should do that. I just went in and I was like, hi, how are you? I'm Greg. I'm here for my appointment. Like, there's no need, despite my desire, to tell them and to show them how wrong they are. There's no need for that because nothing's going to actually come from it. The 12-year-old girl at the reception desk is not the one who is really like, what's that going to do? It's going to do nothing. But so often that internal desire to show someone how wrong they are feeds us, gives us like some type of excitement, some sick, weird excitement that we just get stuck, and it blocks us from being actually able to be peacemakers, to actually make peace and be harbingers of peace with those people that are right in front of us. We got to stifle that. And it's not just me saying this. We hear this in Proverbs. Now, we know Proverbs is the book of wisdom. And in chapter 9, verse 10, we actually hear the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. That's huge because it matters. And that sentence, that verse, verse 10, comes right after a section in verses 7 through 9 where they talk about why that insight is so important. We hear, he who corrects a scoffer gets himself abuse, and he who reproves a wicked man incurs injury. Do not reprove a scoffer, or he will hate you. Reprove a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord. First off, be afraid of God, because that is the beginning of wisdom. But then, this follows after we hear all of these other things about who to and not to do certain things with. Who to get involved with in these kinds of discussions and who not to. Other wise people and those who are righteous, when we get in these discussions, it actually helps them. But when we get into discussions with people that are just going to dig their heels in and just be more angry and just go after you even harder, they're going to flip it around so that it all becomes still your fault and why you are this and you are that and you are the other thing. Like, that's where insight comes in. And that's how verse 10 ends, right? Knowledge of the Holy One is insight. Know your audience. Know who you're dealing with. I could yell at the 12-year-old girl at the reception desk, but is that really who's responsible for things? Or was it the circumstances that were surrounding things? Is it that people were quitting because the owner stunk and then they had to make up these things? Like, who knows? I certainly don't. So why am I going to take out my frustrations on this person in front of me? Rather, let's just live a peaceful life. Let's just be calm, because otherwise it's not going to happen. And then we're reminded in verse 12, if you are wise, you are wise for your wisdom is something that helps you in your framework. And it gives the other side. If you scoff, you alone will bear it. You are going to get and reap what you sow. You are going to deal with the consequences of your actions. So if you feel this need to always go and prove someone else wrong, to crush someone just for the sake of crushing them, so that you kind of like feel like you're exposing who they really are and you're showing the world how horrible they really are, all you're doing is making yourself miserable. Because the reality is, most people are able to see through all of our rantings, all of our screaming. When we have wisdom and we have insight to know what is actually something that is of value. Like I was talking to Father Chris about this yesterday. God, my family, it's not much more than that, right? These are the things, my family, the parish where I work, making sure that I'm doing right by them in all things that I do. Those are the things that matter. And the Pittsburgh Steelers. And these are the things that it is worthwhile to get into. Having the insight to see what matters or doesn't isn't easy. And it's a very difficult problem that we all face because we all have that need to kind of crush someone. But we have a lot of resources that we're working on all the time to help you through that, to help you navigate that, to help you to have that insight so that you can live the life that is laid out for you, giving you kind of a blueprint or a battle plan that will actually lay things out for you in a way that makes sense. We've got the Way of the Warrior Saint at warriorsaints.org. And there you will find two things. First is understanding the Bible. How do you know what God is teaching us? How do we hear Scripture so that we can then put it into action? And then the second part of that is putting it into action, where we give you a battle plan that is a 6-part plan that goes through all of the different parts of make you you so that you can figure out how to navigate. We've even got a lesson in there called Don't Be Right, Win. That lesson talks about this very topic. How do we know when to walk away? Visit us, join us. The movement is growing. Become men and women of action who are not just waiting for peace, but are actually able to make it happen, Captain. Visit us, warriorsaints.org, and until we see you tomorrow, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.